What's up, guys? Hope everybody is having a jam up 2023 summer mowing season. We are wide open, man. We actually are going into self-preservation mode because it is unbearably hot, man. We wrapped up all our sod and landscaping stuff, and we are, if it ain't mowing grass, I'm not interested right now. It's just the way I feel about it. But what I wanted to tell you about in this video was a mistake I made in the beginning of my lawn care business. And if you're looking at picking up HOAs, commercial accounts, or anything like that, this video is going to be very, very helpful for you because I don't want you to make the same mistake that I did. So here's what happened. I was bidding on an HOA, and the price, let's just say it was $500 a month to do everything that needed to be done at this property. There was a lot of hedge trimming to do, a lot of medians that had flower beds, and I knew that it was going to take me and the guys, a certain amount of time every week to make sure that these things look good, and I had to price that accordingly, okay? So I was saying, okay, they're probably going to need 6 to 8 hedge trimmings a year, flower beds, they're going to have to be monitored weekly for weed control. They had some other areas that need to be cut. But anyways, what I'm saying is I had my package built out to include what I knew needed to be done at this place. Well, they got the price, and they here's what they said. They said, hey, we'd love to go with you, got a great reputation, but how can we get the price down to $300 a month? We won't want to pay that. So I started thinking, and again, I'm, relatively new in business at the time, and I started thinking, well, we could get rid of, instead of doing, 6 or 8 hedge trimming jobs, we could do 2 to 3 hedge trimming jobs. All right. Well, instead of, monitoring the flower beds, weekly for weeds, we'll come in here once a month, and do weed control. Instead of weekly maintenance of all the areas, we'll just do weekly maintenance in the high traffic areas, and then back off to every 2 weeks in these other areas, the common areas. They liked the price. We got the price down to something that met my per million hour rate. But here's what happened. After a few months, those hedges, they needed to be trimmed again. But they had only paid for or were under a service agreement to have them things done 3 times a year. But these hedges were going like wildfire, man. And I'm sitting here looking at these hedges, and I'm like, man, we got to do these things, and if we don't do them, and kick it off to several more months, when it's actually on the schedule for, it's going to be a nightmare to get this under control, and it's just going to look like garbage all the way through. Same thing with the weeds and the flower beds. Instead of sitting there and monitoring the weeds and pulling the weeds every single week to keep it looking nice, we'd go a month, and you get there, and even though you would clean it up at the end of that month, what happened is the residents and the people living there and the board members, they are seeing these flower beds look like garbage. Now, the part of me that was new in business, thought I knew everything, I was just going to go point at the service agreement. Well, look, this is what y'all wanted. I told you so, that this is what it that didn't matter, guys. It ultimately makes me look like crap when things are not done the way that they need to be done. So I can go point to the service agreement all I want and say, look, this is what y'all signed up for. This is what you wanted. I told you it should have been done like this, but ultimately nobody's happy. I'm not happy because I don't like the way it looks. They're not happy. They don't like the way it looks. It leaves a bad taste in everybody's mouth. So here's what I'm going to tell you to do and what I've started doing. And if you get a call for an HOA, you don't ask them what they want. You look at this property and you think, what can go wrong here? What is going to look like crap? And how much time do we have to spend and allocate to this place to make it look nice? And that's what I'm going to bid you for. And you are not going to talk me out or talk me down out of the services that I know need to be performed here. Because even if I do execute that service agreement exactly like we wrote it up, you're not going to be happy, and I'm not going to be happy with the way it looks. Ultimately, I ended up losing that account after a couple of years because they were not willing to pay for the actual amount of service work that needed to be done there at this place, and they were never happy. I never was happy with the way it looked. So finally, they ended up just letting us go. And really, if I had it to do over again, I would have just never even taken this place on under those terms. So my advice for you is this: if you're new in business or you're looking at picking up some commercial properties, the benefit to those, in my opinion, is the year-round aspect of them, okay? The margins are better in residential, period. I really feel that way. You can get higher per man hour rates on small residential lawns, but the benefit of the HOAs and commercial properties is that it is year-round income. But here's what I want to tell you. I want to tell you is when you bid those things, you walk that board through what needs to be done at the property, and you don't back down. You don't compromise and say, no, all right, well, we'll back off and do less hedge trimmings, and, we won't install pine straw twice a year. We'll only do it once a year. No, don't do that. Look at these properties, bid them with what needs to be done, stick to your guns, and if you don't get it, it's okay, man. There's so much work out there that you don't have to feel bad about missing out on a job. You're just going to fill it with something else, but fill it up the right way. Fill your schedule the correct way. And this advice, man, it's just something that I've been through, and I want to share it with you. And hopefully that'll help somebody who's bidding an HOA or a commercial property in the near future. All right, y'all take care. God bless.